Hello friends, and welcome to this video. Today I wanted to take these cards, which we built in the last video using Tailwind CSS, and actually make them interactive. So right now, I can click on them, I'm double clicking, nothing's happening. So what we want to do is make it so that when we click a card, this styling is applied to the card that we just clicked, and obviously is removed from any other card. And we're going to do that today using Alpine JS. If you don't know Alpine, there's a link in the description, but it's an awesome little library that just helps make things like this very, very, very easy. So before we jump into VS Code, if you guys like this video, if you find it useful, if you enjoy following along or simply watching it, please do consider subscribing, leaving a like and a comment, and letting me know that you enjoyed it. Without further ado, let's jump into VS Code here. We have our file from last time. We have Tailwind and Alpine JS here with the CDN. And first thing I want to do is introduce some data. So we have our class here. This is our div that holds our 3 cards. And I'm just going to move all of this to its own line. We got our class here. And in here, we're going to add an X data. This is Alpine's way of introducing some data into our markup. So what we're going to do is create an object. And within this object, we're going to put a key of isChecked. And this is what's going to be holding our state. It's going to be determining which card is styled, which card is selected. So we'll start with small, just because that's the default here on Steve's design. And then we'll be changing that dynamically. Next, we'll put another key of plans, and this is going to be our array. It's an array of objects that holds the actual information about our plans. So we'll just start with name, which is a string, and I'll just leave these lowercase to make it easier when we go ahead and do some stuff later on, and then we'll just capitalize them using Tailwind. So first plan here is small. We're going to add a memory of 8, and this is just all the information that's in the actual cards that you've seen before. We're going to do CPUs is 4, storage is 160, and our price is 40. So I'm just going to copy this and create an object for each of our cards. Okay, so I've got all the data in here, and right now nothing's happening. They look the same, but this is still the hard-coded data. So what we want to do is actually only write the markup for one of these cards. So I'm going to go in here and delete the last 2 cards. And where are we? It's this guy here. So we don't need this or this. Okay. Just double check. Cool. So we have our 1 card here. And if we go back to Firefox, we'll see there's just this 1 card that's already been selected. So let's go ahead and put this inside a template tag. Oh gosh, Emmett, please. Okay. Template. I really hate that Emmett doesn't have template tags. So basically, adding this template tag is going to allow us to iterate over this array and pull data from each of our objects and fill the cards with it. So in order to do that, we need to, in our template, do x4, which is just going to do an x4 loop, equals plan in plans. And it's going to iterate over our plans, and each of the iterations is going to be plan. Okay, so plan is this, and then in the next iteration it's this, and then this, basic for loops. So if we do this, we'll actually now see in Firefox that we have 3 cards, but the data is still hard-coded So it's just repeating the first card 3 times. So let's go ahead and change that. So we'll actually remove this text, and I don't think this needs to be on its own line. So let's do x text equals plan dot name. And you'll see here that our name changes. We have the name of each plan. It's pulling from our data set and actually putting it in there. Let's actually go ahead and capitalize as well. And you'll see why in a minute. Okay, there you go. I guess we'll tackle this. So let's wrap this in a span. We will wrap this guy in a span as well. I'll go ahead and do all my wrapping. I am not a wrapper. Span, and we'll span the price here as well. Okay. So this span is going to have an x text of plan dot memory. Yes. CPUs is x text of plan dot CPUs. Let me just do these together. We'll do x text equals plan dot, and then we'll just do it individually. So this is storage, and this here is price. Awesome. So we see now that it's updated dynamically using the data from our data set. And it's all working great as far as I can tell. So let's now go ahead and make it so that this checked style only applies to the card that is currently selected or checked. So the way we do that is by finding the class here. So we'll start with this wrapping div, and we will move this to a new line just because it's getting fairly long here. Go here. Oops. Okay. Oh boy. I'm really bad at keyboard navigation in VS Code, trying to improve. So we'll put a colon class. And what this does is it applies a certain class only when a certain condition is met. And the way we do that is by putting an object and by putting our class within quotes. And let's see, what class is that? So that would be border indigo. And I think that's it. And we'll make the standard border gray 400. And what's going to happen here is once a condition is met, this border color is going to be overridden by this color. So our condition, we set it by doing colon, and then what we'll do is say is checked. So this piece that we're using to hold our state, when this equals the plan name, show that class. So is checked equals, which is done using triple equals JavaScript, equals plan.text. And what we should see here, yeah, so you see here, no you don't, I messed up. This is not plan.text, it's plan.name. Perfect. And we see here that now that the is checked matches the plan name of this, we have a indigo border. These other two don't. So we'll go ahead and do that for the other styles. So I'll just copy this and I will paste it here, move this guy to a new line, move this down, and we'll paste this in here, and we'll do border indigo as well as BG indigo 100. So we'll just remove this and we'll make this gray 400. Okay, so same thing, when the isChecked state matches the name of the plan, the class is applied, otherwise it's removed. So we still have to do it for the text, and then we'll tackle this guy. The text is here. Same sort of process. And in here we'll add our conditional classes. Now, in this case, the conditional class is this text color. And we're just going to leave it because otherwise we'll want it to just inherit the color from the body. Okay. Perfect. So now we see, actually, maybe we'll check with the design. Yeah, that's good. So let's go ahead and change this. Now, instead of using a class like hidden or block, we'll actually use xShow, which is the Alpine directive for showing things only, again, when a certain condition is met. We have our SVG here. Let's do this. This. Move everything to its own line here, just so it's a little bit easier to read. I guess I don't have to do this, but I think it helps a lot. Okay. So rather than applying a conditional class, we'll do xShow, and as the name suggests, it applies a display hidden attribute to this element when a certain condition isn't met, if that makes sense. So we'll just go in here and do xShow. So show this element when isChecked is the same as plan.name. Okay, and now they're hidden when they're not checked. So we have our styles, but when I go ahead and click, I'm clicking here, nothing changes. So let's do that. Let's update our state by clicking on these cards, and that's super, super easy. What we're gonna do is go on this div, this is the actual card, and we'll add the, we can do this in two ways. So the sort of official way to do that is to do X on click, but the shorthand for that, which I think is much better, is just to do @click. And what that does is it just sets up an event. It's listening for a click event. So when we click, we want to change isChecked to plan.name. And now we should see that when we click, our state changes to plan.name and all our classes are applied and removed from the ones that don't match. So I think that's it. I'm pretty happy with that. We got a little bit of interaction, and yeah, that's cool. So again, if you guys enjoyed this, if you enjoyed following along or simply watching, please do let me know in the comments, leave a like, and follow for more videos like this. And I'll see you in the next one.